everyone, I am back with another video. I was just scrolling Facebook and I decided I would do this video really quickly. The person on Facebook had a design and she ended up printing it with a box around it, and she didn't understand how she's supposed to trace and outline the design and pull it into it, and so she could cut around the design so it doesn't look so bad. I'm going to show that in this video on how you fix that. How do you do that? So I'm going to look up let me just pick something. I don't want to do that because I don't want to get let's see, bed boot JPEG. JPEG. And I'm doing this a JPEG because I want to show you how you cut something out, especially if it has a white background, how easy it is to do so really quickly. So I'm going to copy this image and paste it. I'm going to show you several different ways to do this. So as you see, it has a gigantic white box around it, and you want to be able to trace and cut this. So the first way, I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm trying to show you several different ways in order to do it using Silhouette Studio. Okay, the first way is you trace by color, and you trace the white, and it's going to pick up all the white areas inside. If you do just a single area, it's just going to get just the white areas on the outside. Tell it all areas, and then it will get the white areas that's on the inside. If you don't tell it to get all the areas, you're going to be left with white on the inside. So if you do trace and detach, give it a few seconds, you can completely pull this out. So it didn't get everything. It didn't get everything. As you see, it didn't get everything. So we got this part over here. Do it again until it all areas, and then trace and detach. And you could go in and do each area. Oh my God, it just would not get that out of there. Let's do it one piece at a time. Trace and detach. I mean, why it won't just go ahead and do it all, I have no idea, but we'll do each piece. We'll do it this way. And you just go through and you tell it to cut out clear out all of that space, because you don't want that when you do this, when you get ready to cut it, it's gonna cut in between all of this. I'm gonna show you that too, what it'll look like after you cut it all. So just continue to go through and take out all the parts that you want to be cut out, and then you'll have your it'll be specifically for tracing. So now that we've cleaned all of that out, let me put it on the mat so you can see that now when we bring it over to the cut mat, that it'll cut out in between each letter. See that? See the cut lines are not in between each letter because you clean everything out. So the second way of doing this is this is how you create SVGs, okay? So you say, I want all the yellow. I want all the yellow. All areas, I want all the yellow, correct? And you hit trace. And it's tracing out all your parts that's in yellow. And so there you go. You have all of that. You got all of that. And if you can't see what I see when I see that, change all of this, and now, like I said, you got all the yellow parts. Then you go back and then you say, well, I want all the red parts. Select by color, red parts, all, trace. This is how you create the SVGs that you can later on use to okay, so let me show you something. So I'm glad it did that. What happens, you say, oh, well, why is the box around it? Because when I created trace by color, you see I had the box was right up against, if you can see that, it's right up against the white part. So that's the reason why it created that box around it. No worries, because then you go in here and you say release compound pad. You delete the box, select everything, every little piece, every nook and cranny, and make compound pad. Then you go back and you change it to that red. Now you have an SVG. That's way number 2. See, now you can, if you wanted to cut this and create a shirt and make it look just like this, now you have just that part. Okay. All right. That's way number 2. Way number 3 is trace selected areas. You trace the entire thing. See that? Then you increase the threshold until everything is yellow. Everything is yellow. And then do trace and detach. Okay? So now when you pull it out, everything came out. You still have those inner parts that you're going to have to go in and clean out, but that was the way you did that. Okay? That's the third way. You still got to go in. Like I said, you still got to go in and clean the inner white part out like we did up here, but that's the third way. You just select the whole thing and tell it to trace the entire thing. Another way to do it, I don't want to take you into another program, because Canva cleans out backgrounds really well, but I don't want to have to take you to another one. I want to show you how to do it strictly in Silhouette. And you say, what if I don't want it to be a, I don't want that. I don't want to make it an SVG. I just want to clean a picture out. Let me see, can I find a picture that I can clean out? It's quick. I'm trying to find something, guys. I have so much stuff in here. Let's see. Silhouette graphics. Let's see. Can I find something quick so I can clean it out and show you guys? Y'all can tell I do a lot of cartoon stuff, a lot of children's stuff. I do a lot of children's stuff. Let me see. Something that we can. I'm trying to look for something that has 2 backgrounds. Like I have a red background and something else. Something you can. Anything, guys. Isn't that crazy? Because everything I usually have is on a white background. I try not to dabble in stuff that doesn't have a white background. I can't find nothing. Let me Google something right quick. Maybe Betty Boop got something else. She's in this background. Okay, let's just use her. Copy image. Okay, again, same thing. Select trace area. Like we can do that, but it's gonna pick up all of this red. That's not what we want. So we want to trace by color, and we want to do just the red. This particular time, because her dress is red, you don't want to do that. So you just you move the tolerance, and the tolerance means that it's picking up all these little other pixels that have it in there as well. So you want to get as close to her without changing anything else, because you see when you go too far, it does that. So you want to get as close as you can, and then trace and detach. And now you see you left this behind and you have her. That is how you clean. That is how you do that. And now when you take her over to send, see, she's ready to cut. See the little red lines? She's ready to cut. And you don't have to do an offset and all of this other stuff. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to do an offset. If you would like to do an offset on her and get the lines cleaner, so let's do that. You have a design and you trace it. You got to trace and detach first before you can do an offset. You got to do that part. And then hold on. Okay, so go to the offset menu, and then I usually drop mine down to like a 1/2 inch offset, so it'll have that much on it. And so now that's your offset of her. You make it black so you can see it. So there you go. That's your offset on her. You see her back in there, and it's not gonna cut her. So when you go to, let me drop her down so you can see it when I put it in here. So if you don't tell it, see how it's cutting both lines? It's gonna cut her twice. If you don't say this top layer, you got to say no cut, and then that way it only cuts the bottom layer. If you do not, and you do not tell it that, it's gonna cut it twice, because the machine is thinking you're saying cut this and cut this, but you're saying that I only want to cut this. No cut. No cut on the foreground, only cut the background. Okay? Cut edge means the same thing. That's if you had other stuff in here, that her face and all of that other stuff, if you tell it to cut edge, so it knows not to cut anything but just the edge cuts. So that's how you do that. So you don't have to have boxes around your stuff, but you must trace and detach before you do anything else. Trace and detach. This is in the no, it's not. I'm going to say it's in the modify panel. No, it's not. It's in the trace panel. It's in the trace panel. It looks like a butterfly or something like that. Trace area. That's how you do that. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll stop back in next time.